Hello and welcome to Lighten Up. I am your host, Suzanne Ross, and it is truly an honor to be here today with Mary Rodwell. Welcome, Mary.
Oh, thank you, Suzanne. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. For over 30 years, Mary has been doing comprehensive and extensive research into extraterrestrial and extraordinary phenomenon that has been taking place all around the world. And she is part of an organization called FREE. Tell me about FREE, Mary.
Well, FREE is an organization that is looking at this in a way that in science we can understand it. Apart from we all know that we can be multidimensional in nature, a lot of people don't know how to explain that in 3D terms, whereas if you have a science base that will allow you to understand it and give you permission, then you can say, well, it's all okay because there's science there now to show that this is a reality. So this is what FREE is about. It's actually putting the science there, but it's also collating the many ways people can operate in their multidimensional nature, right across the board, whether it's extraterrestrial encounters with non-human intelligences, whether or not it's spirits, angels, fairies, elementals, or whatever. It's all part of the whole, if you like, the whole matrix of experience.
And that is so important because it really gives a lot of validity to these experiences that these people are having with non-human intelligences. And that validates their experience as well, not just for them, but for others, so that they don't feel like they're being labeled crazy or, like these experiences aren't actually real. So thank you so much for doing so much to validate the paranormal.
Well, thank you. And I mean, it's fascinating for me, but it's also very humbling because the bottom line is for most people that have these experiences, they are isolated, they're frightened, they're afraid they might be going crazy. Who do they talk to? Is it safe to talk to them? Are they going to judge them? So there are all these things that come into play as soon as you step out the box and you become aware of more of your reality than what is considered okay.
And I understand you are the foremost researcher on this area of the paranormal. Can you tell me how you got started in this over 30 years ago and why?
Well, I don't know about the foremost. I mean, many wonderful people are working in the field. But I think it was a progression from being a counsellor. I mean, I'm a former nurse midwife. I've come from a very grounded base, if you like, going into counselling. Counselling made sense to me because it was prevention rather than cure. If you can work with someone emotionally, then they may not manifest illness. And grief and bereavement, where people often had extraordinary experiences after going through grief of some kind. They may have paranormal experiences where maybe mum or granny, they see them or sense them once they've died. So it opened me up to the fact that we don't just inhabit a physical container, and when that dies, we die, we go on. And I went and learned hypnotherapy, where ultimately I found out people had past lives, and so there was, this whole continuum of experience. And then I got into this field where, someone walked through the door and said to me, there's no support groups for this. For this, people just think you're crazy, and proceeded to tell me about his experience going on board craft and experiencing marks on his body the next day, nosebleeds, and saying, nobody believes this, but my whole family are experiencing it. So, when someone says it's not just them, but the whole family, this isn't fantasy, this isn't hallucination, this is something very real. And that's really taken me down this huge rabbit hole since. A very fascinating journey.